Namaste, viewers. Welcome to Gnana Devula channel. Now, let us understand the meaning of Vacyarthaḥ. What does Vacyarthaḥ mean? The literal meaning of Vacyarthaḥ. Vacyarthaḥ refers to the direct or literal meaning of a word or phrase. In Sanskrit grammar and the Indian philosophical traditions, it is the contrast. It is contrasted with the Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha means implied or indirect meaning. Then you have some other terms like Mukhyartha. Mukhya means basic or primary meaning or important meaning, and suggestive meaning also. That means sometimes it can be called as Vyangyartha. Vyangya means something different kind of a thing. Vyangya in the Indian languages it is called as mocking. Sometimes it gives that kind of a meaning also. Let us go through a little more in detail about the meaning of this Vacyarthaḥ, or explanation of this Vacyarthaḥ. So this Vacyarthaḥ means straight away, straightforward meaning. So the literal meaning of a word is its straightforward dictionary definition based on common usage. Whatever that we have been using, that is the common usage, and then that is the meaning. It is the meaning which many people, all people would understand immediately when hearing or reading that word or sentence or that phrase, whatever it is. For example, the Vacyartha of a word lotus, Kamala, is simply the flower that grows in water. That is very easily understood like this. The Vacyartha of a word king, that means he is a ruler of a Rajya, he is ruler of a kingdom, like this. Now, this literal interpretation works well for simple communication, but it may fall short in conveying some deeper, some symbolic, some contextual and other meanings. So now, how Vacyartha works? In any language, words have, you can say, different layers of meanings, depending upon the context in which it is used, the intent in which for which it is used, and many a times usage also. Vacyartha represents the first and the most direct layer. For example, if someone says the sun sets in the east, the Vacyartha is the physical observation of the sun appearing in the eastern direction each morning, it rises in the eastern direction. That is the artha, that is the meaning that is to be construed. Now, there is one more known as Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha, Vacyartha. Let us try to understand these two, how they both are little different. There, while Vacyartha is the literal meaning, Lakshyartha refers to the implied meaning or interpretation based on the context. Let's try to understand through an example. Now, say metaphorically, we say that he is a lion in the battle. He is fighting. He is a lion in the battle. The sentence Vacyartha means, if you try to understand literal meaning, the person is literally a lion which doesn't make sense. He is not a lion. Here, the implied meaning you will have to take, that is Vacyarthaḥ. The person is as brave, as strong, and then as fierce as a lion in the battlefield. This is how it is to be understood. So now, why this distinction is important? Particularly in spiritual texts like Upanishads, it is very important, where literal meanings many a times, they fail to capture the depth of the teachings, the full depth of the teachings. So you may have to go to this Vacyarthaḥ or something like other things. So if you have to take an example from the Vedanta, take the famous scriptural statement, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. So now, Tattvamasi, if you speak in English for an ordinary, or for a man who is not exposed to this Indian philosophy, it doesn't mean anything to him. It's like, somebody will call you a madman saying something like that. But this is, Tattvamasi is a very strong phrase from Chandogya Upanishad. So here you will have to understand all the deeper meanings of all the terms, like that Tat means that. That refers to that Brahman, the ultimate reality. Oh, that means that, like that you will have to understand. Tvam refers to the individual soul. Asi means you are that. So that Brahman, you are that, like that. So now literal interpretation, Vacyarthaḥ, might lead to a conclusion that the individual and Brahman are completely different, separate, like that. Tat Tvamasi, you and that. You are that. That means you is different, that is different, and you are that. That gives a different meaning. However, if you look at from the Vacyarthaḥ, that means you will have to go, you will have to understand and then think it at a deeper meaning. Deeper meaning. The implied meaning Vacyarthaḥ is that the individual self and Brahman are essentially one and the same beyond the superficial differences. Now, Vacyarthaḥ in daily language and literature. In everyday speech, we mostly rely on Vacyarthaḥ. Whenever we converse, we just simply understand the meaning on it's not superficial, on a literal sense, Go and fetch water. Any statement, it is not, it's not attached with many things. If someone says, pass me that book, the Vacyarthaḥ is to hand over that book to them. Physical, like this. In poetical language and literary works, poets often go beyond Vacyarthaḥ. See, this is to evoke emotions and deeper meanings. So now, supposing somebody says, the river dances down the mountain, something like that. The Vacyarthaḥ, if you look at the Vacyarthaḥ, the Vacyarthaḥ is about water flowing down. River dances down the mountain. That is, the water is flowing down. Now here, if you look at the Vācyārthaḥ, something in a different way, that suggests you meaning, it conveys a sense of like, emotional sense of joy, emotional sense of grace, emotional sense of flowing, and then beauty and all those things. That is in the poetic language. So, in the philosophical Indian philosophy, understanding the difference between Vacyartha and the other types of meanings is very important for interpreting scriptures and arriving at the truth. So here, literalism versus deeper interpretation. Literally taking Vacyartha at a face value often leads to misconceptions. To a little more in detail, if you were to go, in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, I am the taste in water, the literal meaning is Krishna being the flavor, Krishna flavor in the water. The deeper interpretation points to Krishna being the essence of all existence. He is the being there. So, viewers, to conclude, Vacyartha is the starting point of understanding language. It provides the direct surface meaning of words. However, as we go deeper and deeper in the context, symbolic meanings like Lakshyartha, implied meaning, Vyaṅgyartha, suggestive meaning, all these things come into play. This enriches our comprehension. In Vedanta and spiritual studies, Vacyartha serves as a foundation, that's all, but must often give way to deeper interpretations to uncover the ultimate truth. Viewers, with this explanation on Vacyartha, we will conclude this episode. I hope the explanation was quite satisfactory. As a mark of your having gone through this video, I request you to please like, share, and then subscribe to my channel. Thank you, viewers, for your valuable time.